Have you ever wondered why the exact same car, same engine, same model, same everything recommends 0W-20 oil in the US, but 5W-30 or even 10W-30 in Europe or Asia? It sounds like a minor detail, right? But this single difference could mean thousands of dollars in engine wear or repair costs, depending on where you drive and what oil you pour in. Some mechanics claim it's all about fuel economy regulations. Others insist it's climate, oil chemistry, or engine design. But here's the truth. It's actually a mix of engineering compromises, corporate strategy, and emissions policy. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this oil change exists, and whether using 0W-20 in your car is protecting your engine or silently killing it. So let's break it down like a real mechanic would, not a marketing brochure. Section 1. The confusing reality. Same engine, different oil grades. Let's start with a shocking example. Take the Toyota Camry 2.5-liter 4-cylinder. In the US, the owner's manual says, use 0W-20 full synthetic only. But in Australia, Japan, or Europe, the same 2ARFE engine recommends 5W-30 or even 10W-30. Or look at Honda's 1.5-liter turbo, Satimabo A. US spec 0W-20. UK spec 5W-30. Same turbo, same bearings, same cooling system. So why the difference? Is it the weather, the roads, or something more subtle? Something political? Well, let's start with the easy answer. It's not just about climate. If that were true, Florida and Finland would have two completely different recommendations. But they don't. The real reason has more to do with emissions laws, government fuel economy tests, and corporate marketing tactics than it does with engine wear or mechanical limits. Section 2. The corporate truth. CAFE and fuel economy pressure. Here's what most car owners never hear. In the US, automakers must meet strict CAFE, corporate average fuel economy standards, laws that require every manufacturer's fleet to hit certain MPG targets. If they don't, they face massive fines, millions of dollars per tenth of an MPG shortfall. So how do they squeeze out that last drop of efficiency? By reducing internal friction. Thinner oils, like 0W-20, reduce resistance in the engine. That means better fuel economy on paper. When a manufacturer submits a car for EPA testing, using 0W-20 can improve measured fuel economy by 0.5 to 1.0 miles per gallon. That's enough to meet regulations and avoid penalties. But here's the catch. Thinner oil means thinner protection. At high temperatures or under heavy load, it can shear down faster than 5W-30, leaving your bearings and piston rings more vulnerable over time. This is why Japanese domestic market JDM, or European versions of the same engines, still use 5W-30 or 5W-40. They're tuned for durability, not mileage targets. As one retired Toyota engineer told Automotive News, the oil choice is not always about engineering. Sometimes it's about paperwork. Section 3. Viscosity. Explained what 0W-20 and 5W-30 really mean. Before we go deeper, let's clear up a common misunderstanding. When you see 0W-20, the 0W refers to how the oil flows in winter. W equals winter. The lower the number, the better it flows when cold. That's good for startup protection in freezing climates. The 20 refers to its viscosity at operating temperature, how thick it stays when hot. Now compare that to 5W-30. It's slightly thicker at startup, but 50% more viscous at high temperature. That means stronger oil film under heat and pressure. The kind of protection you want on long highway drives, towing, or high-speed operation. Here's the key difference. 0W-20 prioritizes cold start protection and fuel economy. 5W-30 prioritizes high temp protection and longevity. So when the same engine uses different oils in different countries, it's usually because the priorities have changed. Regulation versus reliability. Section 4. Engine tolerances. Why some engines can handle thinner oils. Now there's another layer here. Engineering tolerances. Modern engines, especially Japanese and American ones, are built with extremely tight clearances. The bearings, pistons, and valve train components are designed to run on thinner oil. This allows them to warm up faster, reduce drag, and pass emissions tests more easily. In contrast, older engines, or those designed for high-performance applications, are built with larger tolerances to handle higher loads, which makes 5W-30 or 5W-40 a better match. But here's the nuance most people miss. Even in modern engines, clearances change with age. As your engine wears, the microscopic gaps widen. That means a 10-year-old car that used to be perfect on 0W-20 might actually perform better and last longer on 5W-30. That's why many experienced mechanics recommend stepping up one grade as your engine ages, especially past 100,000 miles. Mechanic quote from Bob is the oil guy form. Engines aren't static. They grow. They wear. Oil choice should grow with them. Section 5. The heat factor. America's problem isn't winter. It's summer. Another myth. People think 0W-20 is only used because America is cold. Wrong. Most of the U.S. experiences hotter average summer temps than Japan or Germany. In Arizona, Texas, or Florida, oil temperatures can exceed 240 degrees Fahrenheit. 0W-20 oils lose 10 to 15% of their viscosity after 5,000 to 7,000 miles in high heat. Meanwhile, 5W-30 seconds stay stable much longer. This doesn't mean 0W-20 is bad. It just means it's more sensitive to environment and driving style. If you live in a hot region, drive long distances, tow, or use your car aggressively. A slightly thicker oil will almost always offer better long-term protection. This is exactly why Toyota, Nissan, and Mazda all quietly recommend 5W-30 for the same engines in markets like Australia, the Middle East, and Southeast Asia. Regions where fuel economy standards are looser, and heat is the real enemy. Section 6. The EPA versus engineers. Who really chooses the oil? Here's the part that most car owners never get told. In many cases, the engineers don't even get the final say. When a car is certified for sale in the U.S., the oil grade listed in the owner's manual is part of the EPA test data submission. That means if a manufacturer changes oil viscosity later, they have to recertify the entire vehicle. An expensive, months-long process. So once an engine is certified with 0W-20, it stays that way on paper. Even if engineers know 5W-30 would be better in certain climates. That's why service bulletins often say things like the 5W-30 may be used if 0W-20 is not available. Translation: we know 5W-30 works. We just can't officially say it's the primary oil. So next time you hear someone say, just use whatever's in the manual, remember that manual was written for compliance, not necessarily for longevity. Section 7. Real test data. 0W-20 versus 5W-30 head-to-head. Let's get real for a moment. This isn't theory anymore. We've got actual data from engine teardowns, oil analysis labs, and field tests. Case number 1. Toyota 2.5-liter 2ARFE engine. 2 identical Camrys were tested, one using 0W-20, the other 5W-30. Over 100,000 miles under mixed driving in hot southern U.S. conditions. The results? The 0W-20 engine had slightly better fuel economy, about plus 0.7 miles per gallon. But the 5W-30 engine showed 40% lower wear metals in the used oil analysis. The 0W-20 engine's valve cover showed light varnish. The 5W-30 engine was spotless. In other words, 0W-20 saved you about $40 in gas per year, but potentially cost you hundreds more in wear over time. Case number 2. Honda 1.5-liter Turbo L15B7. In a real-world test published by Project Farm and verified by mechanics on the Bob is the Oil Guy forum, the 1.5-liter turbo engine produced higher oil consumption and turbo-bearing wear, with 0W-20 versus 5W-30. Once switched to 5W-30, oil consumption dropped by 30%, and bearing wear metals dropped by nearly half. Conclusion: for small displacement turbos, slightly thicker oils help maintain film strength under boost, especially when oil temps exceed 230 degrees Fahrenheit. And here's the kicker. Honda themselves quietly recommend 5W-30 in the same L15 engine outside the US. Section 8. The warranty question. Can you switch safely? Now this is where most people panic. If I switch from 0W-20 to 5W-30, will it void my warranty? Here's the truth. Straight from the Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act, US federal law. A manufacturer cannot deny warranty coverage unless they can prove your modification caused the failure. So if you use a high-quality, manufacturer-approved 5W-30 synthetic and your engine fails for unrelated reasons, your warranty still stands. In fact, some service bulletins even state 5W-30 may be used if 0W-20 is unavailable, provided it meets APISP or ILSACGF6 standards. That's the legal loophole. As long as your oil meets or exceeds the same specification, your warranty is protected. Many mechanics actually recommend switching to 5W-30 after 60,000 to 80,000 miles, especially in warmer climates or for older engines with light wear. It's not breaking the rules. It's adapters don't realize. The additive package in the oil matters more than the viscosity grade itself. Two different 5W-30s can perform completely differently depending on detergent strength to prevent sludge, zinc/phosphorus, ZDDP, content for wear protection, base oil type, PAO, ester, or Group 3 hydrocracked. For example, a premium 0W-20 ester-based synthetic, like Amsoil Signature, can outperform a cheap 5W-30 conventional oil in every category because of superior film strength and anti-wear additives. So it's not just about the numbers, it's about oil quality and formulation. That's why many experts, like Lake Speed Jr., certified lubrication specialist and NASCAR tribologist, advise choosing a top-tier synthetic with strong high-temperature stability over simply going for a thicker grade. Section 10. The temperature. Truth. Why W? Rating isn't about warmth. Here's a common misconception. 0W means better for winter. 5W means thicker for summer. That's partially true but oversimplified. The W rating only applies to cold start viscosity, not how oil behaves when hot. For example, 0W-20 and 5W-20 both act like 20 weight at 212 degrees Fahrenheit, 100 degrees Celsius. The difference is how they flow below freezing. In most of the US, unless you live in Alaska or Minnesota winters, the benefits of 0W are minimal. In contrast, the high temperature performance of 5W-30 can protect your engine far better during summer commutes, towing, or stop-and-go traffic. So in hot states like Arizona, Texas, Nevada, or Florida, switching from 0W-20 to 5W-30 is not just safe, it's smart. Section 11. What mechanics actually do, but don't tell you. This might surprise you. When mechanics service their own personal vehicles, most don't actually use 0W-20. We interviewed independent technicians and dealership veterans from Toyota, Subaru, and Honda. Nearly all admitted they personally run 5W-30 or 5W-40 in their own engines, especially in states with hot climates. One master tech told us, "We use 0W-20 in customer cars because that's the spec on the invoice. But if it were my engine, 5W-30, no question. It just holds up better." Another added, "The difference in fuel economy is so small, but the long-term wear benefits are huge." So yes, even dealership pros quietly bend the rulebook to protect engines from the inside out. Section 12. What oil should you use? If you drive mostly short trips, live in colder states, and follow regular oil change intervals, 0W-20 is perfectly fine. But if you drive long distances, live in hot climates, tow or haul, often have over 60,000 miles on your engine, then 5W-30 full synthetic will likely give you better long-term protection. The goal isn't to chase the thinnest oil. It's to use one that fits your real driving conditions. Remember, the same engine that uses 0W-20 in the US was designed and tested to run safely on 5W-30 elsewhere. You're not breaking rules. You're just thinking like an engineer. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and tap the bell, because the truth about your engine oil might be the cheapest insurance you'll ever buy.